This week's Dvar Torah, may it be a Zechus for Shlema from my friend's father, Avram Nechemia ben Braina. May he be Zechus to Shlema Bekarov. And may it be a Zechus for Erez ben Hadas, one of the hostages taken, 12-year-old kid taken when he was 11. May it be a Zechus for him, that Hashem should help him and pull him out of that. God knows where that he is right now, as only Hashem can. May Hashem bless him with the opportunity to have a normal life, a life devoted to Avodas Hashem, and a happy, meaningful, purposeful life in Eretz Hashem, B'soch Shar Hashvoyim. And I recommend that we all, if we're able to maybe look up, they have lists of all the hostages, and you could find their picture online, and you could find their Hebrew name, and maybe you could pick one to try to bring Zechus into Mitzvah Hashem. Hashem will save many more of them. So I wanted to talk about a topic which has the potential to be a tremendous Zechus for us. The topic is a Ma'avor Al Midosov, a person who is able to handle it when people throw things at them, meaning that they get insulted, or maybe people are just mishalim ra tachas tova, that you treat them well and then they don't treat you as well. That when people experience such things, it's a tremendous Zechus to be a Ma'avor Al Midosov. It's one of the greatest Zechusim, because then Hashem is Ma'avir and Al Kol Pshav, and Hashem overlooks our flaws and stumblings when we overlook those of others. My Rebbeim always used to encourage working on this before the Yom Noram, and they have stories of Chaim Kanievsky, people who were told they're not going to be able to have children. Chaim said, I have one advice for you, maybe try to get a bracha from a person who gets insulted and doesn't answer back. For a person who's a Ma'avor Al Midosov, in the face of bizyoinus, in the face of being attacked that way, then maybe it could be a Zechus for you. So there's a fascinating Chazal that really caught my attention in this week's parsha. So Chazal tell us, the parsha starts off with the passing of Sarah, and Chazal connect her passing to a pasuk in Parshas Lech Lecha when Sarah throws out Hagar. That Sarah says to Avram Avinu, she says, Chamasi alecha, anosichi nosati shivchasi b'chekecha, v'ater kirasa v'aikal b'nei, yishpor Hashem b'nei u'b'neicha. She says, I have tainas on you. Hagar just got pregnant. It's clear that you were davening for you and not enough for me. And we Hashem judge between us, that you should, whether or not you should keep her around, or whether or not you should be davening for me, and I should be the one to carry on our legacy. And it's clear from the psukim that Hashem agreed with Sarah and told Avram was able to send Hagar away. And at the same time, Chazal tell us that Sarah was very severely punished for what she did here. So Chazal tell us in the Gemara Bava Kama Tzadi Gimel, if a person goes and is a moser to Shemayim, sort of asks Hashem to prosecute and judge another person, such a person is punished first. As it says, Sarah said this to Avram, and then Vayavu Avram was supposed to serve of course. Avram comes to bury her and mourn her even before he himself has passed away. The Medrash Rabbah spells out that Sarah really should have lived the same amount of years of Avram Avinu. But because she said, Yishpor Hashem b'nei u'b'neicha, she lost 48 years of life. And if you think about what it means, Sarah was obviously not intending to do this, I don't think. She was really just giving Avram Avinu Moser, but at the end of the day, this is a tremendous kitru again on her madrega. This is a tremendous prosecution against the person when a person is, in fact, says, Hashem, may you judge this person, may you punish them for what they do to me. And this is brought down by the Ramah in Choshen Mishpat and Tav Chaf Beis. The Ramah the Shulchan Aruch is talking about forgiving others who harm us, and that we shouldn't be too cruel about forgiving. And the Ramah exhorts from this Gemara that it's also to be mavakesh dimna shamayim al-chaver, to say, Hashem, may you bring bad upon this person because what they've done to me. So the Gemara gives an exception that the Gemara says if there's judges, if there's ways to sort this out without turning to Hashem, then you shouldn't ask Hashem to intervene and punish this person. The Ramah brings from the Ran that maybe a person shouldn't do it even if there is no judges. You should first let the person know, at least give him a chance to appease you before turning to Hashem and saying, Hashem, may you sort this out. Whether bottom line, there are heterim at times, there aren't heterim. We see this is not the way that we do business. And One idea that my Rav mentioned when I told him this Chazal is just we see here the danger of being a cause for another Jew to get punished. There's a famous story with the Satmar Rebbe when he was the Rav of Or Shiva back in Europe, that he was fighting strongly against mixed dancing. And there was a story where there was a wealthy wheat mill owner, and he was making a chassan on the Satmar Rebbe came over there, and the brother of the Kal had initiated mixed dancing. And when the Rebbe came in, the brother of the Kal, I don't know if they chased him out with his fists, with a gun, he chased the Rebbe out very much with chutzpah. And in the end, this person was, they quote that the Rebbe said a line, he's not going to keep dancing like this. In the end, this person suffered a very terrible fate. They were mangled horribly in the wheat mill, very crazy tragedy. And it became very clear to everyone that this Rebbe has siyata d'shmaya, and you don't mess with this Rebbe. But the Rebbe, it says, he fasted incessantly for the rest of his life over this. He was very unhappy about this story. He said, I don't know what they're going to do to me in Shemayim. I don't know if I'm going to be punished because of what happened to this person. He was very concerned about being a cause of harm for another person. So that's clearly one of the ideas here of being Moser Din HaChaver Al Shemayim. But I wanted to explore from another angle just this idea that we have sometimes a person is Mishayim Ra Tachas Tova, they don't treat us well, or they, in fact, even insult us. And a person might say, so I'm not going to fight back, but I'll turn and I say, Hashem, you put this person in his place, please. So we see that this is not what Chazal had in mind when they were talking about a Ma'avor Al Midosov. We see also, I think similarly, if a person goes and tells 40 people about how somebody oppressed them, without speaking Lashon Hara, they don't know who it is, but you go around venting it, it's also not what Chazal had in mind by Ma'avor Al Midosov. A Ma'avor Al Midosov is a person is able to take it, person finds a way to handle it. So just 2 or 3 eighths that I saw in the storm, how do we do that? Not from the psychological, how do we learn to handle it? And obviously people have to have boundaries, and we're not advocating people taking abuse. We're talking about there are times when people mistreat you and there's not much that you could do about it besides learn how to handle it. So the Chofetz Chaim in the Shmiras HaLashon, I had trouble with this, but as I've worked on it over the course of the week, I've come to start appreciating what Chofetz Chaim is saying here. He brings from the Zohar that we should learn from Yosef HaTzadik. Yosef HaTzadik, his brothers maybe treated him badly, and what did he do? He treated them very well. And this is the drach, this is the way of the tzaddikim. And because of this, Hashem is chas on them in this world and in Olam Haba. That is tremendous. One of the big chosim for tzaddikim is they exhibit this midah of being mishalem tova tachas ra, being good to those who maybe are not so good to them. And the Chofetz Chaim says a fascinating idea. He talks about if a person's walking, this is in Shar HaTvuna Perek Vav, person's walking and one foot stumbles over the other, you're not going to go and kick the other foot. It's one body. There's no winners and losers here. He says, so too, when you have a fight between 2 Jewish people, he says, in Shemayim, we all come from one root. Go Yechad Ba'aretz, we're all one. So there's no winners and losers in a fight among Jewish people. When his success is your success, his failure is your failure. We're all down here, he says, it looks like we have separate bodies and separate lives, but it's only because we're in this physical world. But in the next world, we see that this is not true. Fascinating idea, even though obviously we're judged as individuals, but he's saying we're all one at the end of the day. We have to learn to view other people accordingly. Share with you another idea I saw brought in the Tomer Devorah, in the second parak. He talks about the idea that we have Averos and it's very hard for us to get kapara. One of the biggest kaparas is Yisurim. And we could turn to Hashem and we could say, there are lots of different types of Yisurim. Do we want to be starving? Do we want to be sick, chas v'shalom? We can have Yisurim which involve somebody else insulting you. And it's a tremendous chus, it's a tremendous kapara. And it doesn't really cost you that much if you're able to handle it. Chofetz Chaim, it says, lamented in the end of his days to his nephew that he didn't endure much humiliation in his life, that it would have been a tremendous chus and kapara for him. And the Tomer Devorah advocates that we should actually feel simcha when we take such things because it's such a tremendous kapara, such a tremendous chus for us. So these are hard ideas, but if we can internalize and work on them, we can really reframe how certain aspects of our interpersonal relationships really be able to handle things that come our way. And it can really be a tremendous chus for us and a mitzvah Hashem for Gans Klal Yisrael and help usher in the geulas and Yeshuas that we need. Have a wonderful Shabbos.